She was doing everything right, exercising every morning, cutting calories, avoiding sugar. She even started meditating. And her symptoms were getting worse. Every single month, worse. I see this constantly. Women who are working harder than ever and making their menopause symptoms more severe in the process. Not because they are lazy, not because they have bad genes, because nobody told them that 5 very common, very well-intentioned habits are doing the opposite of what they think. Today I am going through all 5, in order, least damaging to the one that I believe is responsible for more unnecessary suffering in menopause than almost anything else combined. My name is Nora. I spend my time going through the peer-reviewed research that your 15-minute appointment never has time to cover. What I am giving you today is not opinion. Every single thing on this list has a mechanistic explanation and research behind it, not to scare you, to free you from habits that are working against your own body. And before we begin, stay with me until the end, because I want to share something I've been building quietly for women like you. 5 things. I am going through them in order, starting with the one that surprises women the least and building to the one that stops almost every woman I share it with. Number 1 on this list is something that the majority of women in menopause are doing right now, doing it consistently, doing it because they were told it would help, and it is quietly making every single symptom they have more severe. Stay until number 1. Right now, one question. Leave it below. Have your symptoms gotten worse in the last 6 months despite trying to make lifestyle changes? Yes or no? I read every comment on this channel, and I want to know how many of you are living this. For 5, stop doing daily cardio to manage your symptoms. Running, spinning, the elliptical for 45 minutes every morning. If you are doing this to manage your menopause symptoms, I need you to hear this carefully. Not because exercise is bad, because this specific type of exercise is raising the one hormone that makes every menopause symptom worse. That hormone is cortisol. Here is what most women and most doctors get completely wrong. Estrogen declining is what triggers the menopause transition, but cortisol is what determines how severe your symptoms are. The hypothalamus, the part of your brain that controls your body temperature, your sleep, your mood, your stress response, is exquisitely sensitive to cortisol. When cortisol is chronically elevated, the hypothalamus stays in a state of high alert. Hot flashes become more frequent. Sleep becomes more fragmented. Anxiety escalates. Brain fog deepens. Sustained cardio, anything over 30 to 40 minutes of moderate to high intensity, raises cortisol for up to 6 hours after the session ends. The women doing an hour on the treadmill every morning are starting every single day with an elevated cortisol baseline, and then wondering why their symptoms seem to peak in the afternoon. University of Pittsburgh 2020, 40% more hot flashes per week in women with elevated cortisol versus normal cortisol levels. Same estrogen decline, the variable was cortisol. The swap is specific. Replace daily sustained cardio with resistance training, 2 to 3 sessions per week. Resistance training does the opposite. It lowers cortisol by 24%. It preserves muscle mass, which drops fastest during the menopause transition. And it improves insulin sensitivity, which directly connects to belly fat and hot flash frequency. This is not about giving up exercise. It is about the right exercise for this specific phase of your body. 4. Stop skipping meals to lose weight. Intermittent fasting is everywhere right now, and for younger women, for men, it can work. But for women in perimenopause and menopause, skipping meals, especially breakfast, is triggering a hormonal cascade that makes weight loss harder, not easier, and drives symptoms through the roof. Here is exactly what happens. You wake up, your cortisol is naturally at its highest point of the day. That is normal. It is what wakes you up. If you do not eat within 45 to 60 minutes of waking, that cortisol stays elevated. Your blood sugar drops. Your body reads that as a threat, not a diet strategy, an actual physical threat. It releases more cortisol to compensate. That cortisol spike activates the hypothalamus, is already hypersensitive during menopause. You have just handed it a loaded trigger, and this is the part no one tells you. Every skipped meal is not one cortisol spike. It is a cortisol spike that then amplifies every menopause symptom for hours afterward. Hot flashes, anxiety, mood instability, brain fog, all of them worsen in the cortisol window following a blood sugar crash. The women who tell me their worst symptoms come at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. are almost always the ones skipping breakfast and lunch. Mayo Clinic 2019, 33% reduction in hot flash frequency in women on a low glycemic diet versus control. Blood sugar stabilization, not calorie restriction, was the mechanism. The practical change is not complicated. Protein within 45 minutes of waking, 30 to 40 grams. It stabilizes cortisol before your day begins. Every meal contains protein and fat, never refined carbohydrates alone. This is not about eating more. It is about timing and composition. Your body cannot tell the difference between deliberate fasting and accidental starvation. The hormonal response is identical. 3. Stop having a drink to unwind in the evening. I want to be careful here. This is not a lecture about alcohol. I am not telling you that you can never drink again. I am telling you the exact mechanism by which even one standard drink in the evening is working directly against your body, and explaining why the timing matters as much as the amount. When you drink alcohol, three things happen simultaneously in the menopausal body that do not happen with the same severity in younger women or in men. First, alcohol dilates blood vessels within minutes. In a body with an already hypersensitive hypothalamic thermostat, that vasodilation fires a flash. Every time, not sometimes, every time you drink, you are pulling the trigger on the thermostat mechanism. Health and Her research 4 in 10 women identified alcohol as a direct trigger for menopause symptoms. Study involved 69,277 women over 1 year. Alcohol was the most commonly identified environmental trigger. Second, alcohol raises cortisol, not lowers it. Most women drink in the evening to unwind, to reduce stress. The subjective feeling of relaxation is real. The cortisol response is also real, and it moves in the opposite direction. Cortisol rises for 3 to 4 hours after drinking. In a menopausal body, that cortisol elevation hits during the exact window, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., when your body should be in its deepest recovery phase. Third, and this one explains the 3 a.m. wake-ups that women who drink regularly describe as their most disruptive symptom. Alcohol fragments the architecture of sleep. It suppresses REM sleep in the first half of the night. Then in the second half, your body tries to recover that REM sleep, and the rebound disrupts the sleep cycle. You wake up, heart pounding, 3 a.m., unable to return to sleep. This is not anxiety. This is the neurological rebound from alcohol's effect on your sleep architecture. This is where most women and most doctors get it completely wrong. The practical line is this: if you choose to drink, do it earlier with dinner rather than after. Keep it to one standard drink. Give your body 3 to 4 hours between the last drink and sleep. The mechanism does not change, but the timing reduces the overlap with your most vulnerable overnight window. You know what I hear from women on this channel more than anything else? I thought I was the only one. The sleep changes. The exhaustion, the mood shifts, the anxiety, the brain fog, feeling completely unlike yourself without understanding why. After hearing the same story again and again from women in their 40s and 50s, I realized something. Women in this phase of life have been completely overlooked. That is why I started PrimalHer, something being built specifically for women navigating these hormonal and body changes. Not another generic brand, something built from the inside out for this specific phase of life. If you go to primalher.com and join the waitlist, you will be one of the very first women to hear when we launch. Number 2. Stop sleeping on an inconsistent schedule. This one sounds simple. It is not, and the reason it is number 2 on this list, and not number 5, is the research behind it is some of the most important work on menopause symptom management published in the last 5 years, and almost no one is talking about it. The hypothalamus controls your body temperature, your hot flash frequency, your stress hormone output, your mood regulation, your sleep cycles. It does all of this through one master system, the circadian rhythm. And the circadian rhythm is set by one thing more than anything else: the consistency of your sleep timing. Menopause Science 2023, 39%. Fewer hot flashes per week in women with consistent sleep timing, within 30 minutes of the same time every night, compared to women with irregular timing. Consistency of timing mattered more than total sleep duration. Here is the mechanism. The hypothalamus goes through a predictable calming cycle at night, if and only if it receives a consistent circadian signal. When you sleep at different times on weekends versus weekdays, when you stay up late Friday and Saturday and try to compensate Sunday, you are disrupting the one signal that tells the hypothalamus to reduce its sensitivity. It stays activated. Hot flashes stay elevated, not just on the nights you slept irregularly, for days afterward. The intervention is one of the simplest on this list. Sleep within 30 minutes of the same time every night, including weekends. Morning light within 30 minutes of waking, 10 to 15 minutes outside, anchors the circadian clock. No screens 90 minutes before bed. Bedroom temperature 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This costs nothing. It requires no prescription. And the research shows a 39% reduction in hot flash frequency from consistency of sleep timing alone. 1. Stop treating every symptom as a separate problem. Here it is. Number 1. The thing I said at the beginning of this video that I believe is responsible for more unnecessary suffering in menopause than almost anything else combined. She cannot sleep. She sees a doctor. She gets a sleep aid. She has anxiety. She sees a doctor. She gets an antidepressant. She has hot flashes. She gets told to avoid triggers. She has brain fog. She is told to exercise more. She gains weight. She is told to eat less. She has mood changes. She is told it is probably stress. Each of these symptoms is treated as a separate problem requiring a separate solution. They are not separate problems. They are one problem. Every single symptom on that list, the sleep disruption, the anxiety, the hot flashes, the brain fog, the weight gain, the mood changes, is driven by the same root mechanism. The declining hormonal environment, primarily estrogen and progesterone, disrupting the hypothalamus, the nervous system, the stress axis, and the inflammatory system simultaneously. When you treat each symptom separately, you spend years managing consequences instead of addressing the source. The sleep aid does not address the cortisol dysregulation that is disrupting sleep. The antidepressant does not address the progesterone decline that is disrupting GABA in the brain. The hot flash avoidance strategy does not address the hypothalamic hypersensitivity that is causing the flashes. Mayo Clinic 2023 1.8b. Cost to the U.S. economy annually from uncontrolled menopause symptoms through missed work, reduced productivity, and workforce exit. 4,400 employed women surveyed. 1 in 4 reported missing work due to symptoms. The practical step here is the most important conversation I want you to have. Walk into your next appointment with a list, not of individual symptoms, but of all of them together in one document, with the timeline of when each one started. Present them as what they are, a coordinated hormonal shift, not 7 separate problems. Ask for a comprehensive hormonal panel, FSH, estradiol, progesterone on day 21 if you are still cycling, and cortisol. Ask to be seen as a whole system, not as a collection of complaints. You did not develop 7 separate conditions. Your hormonal environment changed. That deserves one integrated conversation. And if your current doctor is not able to have that conversation, you deserve one who can. 5 things. Stop doing daily cardio. Replace with resistance training twice a week. Stop skipping meals. Protein within 45 minutes of waking every day. Stop the evening drink, or change the timing and the amount. Fix your sleep schedule. Same time every night, morning light, cool, dark room. And most importantly, stop treating every symptom as a separate problem. Connect the dots. Demand the full conversation. If this gave you something your appointments never did, subscribe. 1 video every week. And tell me, which of these 5 was the one that surprised you most? Leave it below. I want to know. And one last thing before you go. If you have been trying to figure out why your body suddenly feels different, why your energy disappeared, why your sleep changed, why your emotions feel heavier lately, you are not imagining it, and you are not alone. PrimalHer is being built for women exactly like you. The waitlist is small right now, and we want to keep it that way. The women joining now will be the first through the door when it launches. PrimalHer.com, the link is in the description.